If you're looking to create an email strategy, there are specific things that you might have heard from other people that are totally not true. And especially if you're a newer entrepreneur, there's actually very, very cool things you can do in your email newsletter that isn't cheesy, isn't weird, and will actually get you clients much faster. So that's what we're talking about in this video. So let's go ahead and get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Heart Behind Hustle TV, where we support impact-making entrepreneurs to grow and scale their businesses online so they can turn their brands into movements. And a big part of being able to actually grow a movement and grow your business to the next level is communicating with your audience and actually nurturing your audience. So the likelihood that you're pretty good at that is kind of high. It's kind of weird, but a lot of my clients are already really good nurturers and community engagers. They just need help with like growing the audience and knowing how to strategically do things and systemize things. In this video, I'm going to share with you a couple things you need to understand around creating your newsletter strategy, especially if you don't really like the whole spontaneous, like, I'm just going to go with the flow and email whenever, which is what I actually did for many years. And just recently, I actually implemented more of a strategy, more of a calendar again. This is something I used to do in the very beginning. And it's working out really great for me. So I'm going to share with you a couple things you can do for that. Now, before we do that, I wanted to share a couple of myths that you might have heard from a lot of other marketing experts that are actually making things a lot more confusing for you and probably adding to your overwhelm. So the first thing is that you probably might have heard that you need to email your list at least once a week. And this is a total myth. You do not have to email your list that often. Some people might even say that you need to email them several times a week. And I really don't think you need to email your audience that often, especially if you're also consistently posting in social media platforms. I actually find that sending 2 emails a month that are consistent and, you know, whether it's the first and third week of the month or second and fourth week of the month or whatever, is usually enough to have this baseline. So of course you can send more than that if you're doing a launch or a special promotion or something like that. But just content-based, value-driven emails that are actually adding something to your community, they're adding some kind of value for your community, I would say are the minimum. Now, another myth is that your emails need to sell every single time. And while I understand the intention behind this myth and why it might be helpful, and for some people it might definitely work, if you're a newer entrepreneur and you don't have a ton of offers to sell, you might not feel awesome about having to sell and having to pitch in every single email. And I'm going to be honest, I actually think that being able to just provide value in at least a few of the emails that you send each month, and if it's just those 2, that's great, is going to build more of that trust, more of that goodwill, and more of that rapport with your audience so that when you do want to sell them something, they're going to be a lot more receptive because you've given them something, you've given them value. So you do not have to sell in every single email. You do not have to invite people onto a sales call every single time, but you do have to make sure that you provide value for your audience. And then when it makes sense, you can of course transition and also include a call to action, like an invitation for a sales call or an actual paid offer. Now, the third myth is that typically when people think of a term newsletter, they think it has to be all fancy and branded and you have to hire a designer and all these things. And I don't really think that's true. In fact, for coaches and experts like you and myself, don't really need to do that at all because people are signing on to our email list to hear from us. They want to learn more about what's going on in our world. They want to know about our offers. They want to know about special things we have coming out. And they don't necessarily want to feel like, you know, they're emailing with Target or some other big company. They're talking to you. And that's the beauty of being more of a personal brand. It is personal. So it's actually better if your emails are very straightforward and not designed, not fancy formatting or anything like that, just plain emails that you would send to a friend and addressing that one person. And that actually works way better than anything else. And lastly, a lot of people think that it has to be like a fancy newsletter style with a fun, like crazy name and themes and like columns, and it just has to be this like thing as if it's a held newsletter, like a physical newsletter. And it doesn't have to have that either. I definitely have tried that before, and my clients have tried that before, where it was like, you know, quote of the week, and there was a section about the offer of the week, and you know, whatever, there were different sections, and it kind of followed the same template every single time. But honestly, anytime that we send an email like that, it also kind of creates a little bit of that separation, that disconnection, because you're sending a blast, a broadcast to everybody. It's really not more personalized. And I think it's just way easier for everybody if you just send pretty awesome value-driven emails to your audience addressing one person and not having to worry about having different features in there and different, like, you know, whatever, different things that you don't really need to have. So simplicity is key, definitely going to make it way better. So let's go ahead and dive into how to create a newsletter strategy that actually makes sense for you. So my recommendation, as I said, is to send maybe 2 emails a month. Now, if you are already consistent with email marketing, you can definitely up that and do 3 or 4 emails a month as well. And again, when I say a newsletter email, I typically mean a value-driven email. You're sharing something that's really going to add value to your audience. So how do you actually know what to email? What do you say to people? So a way that you can look at that is to come up with 2 themes that you basically repeat every single month. So let's say the first week of the month you have a case study that you share, and the third week of the month maybe it's more of a behind the scenes. These are 2, by the way, examples of things or themes that you can share. So what are some other things that you can include? Client story, you can do a behind the scenes of what's going on in your business and sharing some lessons from things that you've learned in your own business. You can share a how-to or a tutorial. You can share some of your best tips on a specific topic. You can do a recap of the month. So maybe if you're a business coach, you can share about your profitability or how many sales you got or how big your list grew, or maybe you're a health coach and you can share about your fitness goals for the month and how they went or whatever. It could also be a lesson from the week or from the month. So what is something that you learned in your own life that would be a little bit more of a vulnerable share, but is totally going to add value because they'll connect with you as a human and they'll learn something that you learned without having to make that same mistake or having that same situation happen to them as well. And lastly, you can also offer a free gift or a free training. Now, this is a little bit different from offering a pitch for something, but it's basically like, hey, I created this little video I wanted to share with you, and this is just what it is. And yeah, at the end of that free gift or that free training, you can include a call to action, of course. And by the way, everything I'm sharing, of course, you can tweak and edit to make your own. I'm all about aligned marketing, of course, but this is another thing that you can include as well. So simplified it for you. You basically pick 2 of these, and you can either repeat them every single month, or you can just pick whichever ones work for you and just change them up every single month so it works for you and you can be a little bit more spontaneous with it as well. Now, one last tip I want to share with you before we head off is I want you to start identifying what are some of the emails that you really resonate with that you are getting in your inbox. So you probably have subscribed to quite a few different influencers or experts or coaches, and my recommendation is to also look at what are they saying that you're resonating with. What are they talking about? Are they being more vulnerable, or are they doing more how-tos or more tutorials? What really resonates with you more, and how can you incorporate that, model that in your own newsletter strategy so you can connect with your audience as well. So that's all I have for you right now. Now, of course, if we work together and you join my academy, we'll dig into that a lot more. But this is a really good foundation to have. So definitely go ahead and implement that as much as you can. And if you are interested in talking a little bit more about how to work together and how to grow your business and really create a raving audience of people that buy from you and trust you and love you and tell everybody about you, then definitely consider joining my Aligned Marketing Academy. You can go to heartbehindhustle.com/academy and either join the waitlist if it's not open, and then consider joining when it is, or you can enroll right there. And if you enjoy this video, definitely make sure that you grab my Set Up Your Online Business Starter Kit, which is a totally free resource to help you set up all your systems for your online business so you can be off to the races and focusing on getting clients. And of course, make sure that you subscribe to this channel and enable notifications so you can be notified about the future videos I do, because I release 2 videos every single week, every Monday and Thursday. And I'd love to see you in my future videos in the comments section so I can know all about how you're doing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.